Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to our Sunday conversation. Today, we introduce another new coach to Kentucky High School, Coach Bert Bathiany, who will be taking over as Lexington Catholic. We'll have a new coach, Coach Nigel Smith, who has been great to the program. He stepped down to pursue a law degree and take care of some other things that he needed to do. So we have a new coach at Lexington Catholic, Coach Bert Bathiany.
Man, looking forward to talking to Coach Bert today to talk about his transition from going from coaching college football to coaching. We're probably one of the most well-known names in high school football, Lexington Catholic. Coach Nigel has not left the cover bare. Catholic had a lot of success last year, but it's hard, Coach, to get around Boyle County.
All right, here, Coach Bert. Coach!
I like the shirt.
Yes, sir. Welcome to Big Things County, Coach.
Coach, first of all, Coach, don't get your hopes up, Coach. Don't get your hopes up.
No, that's okay. I got high expectations. I've seen some of your guys' stuff already, so I'm excited.
No, he's a fair weather fan, Coach.
That's okay. Hey, it doesn't matter. Bad weather, fair weather, we'll take them all.
Hey, Coach, you don't want this type of fan, Coach.
We winning, we riding, baby.
Coach, he goes quarter to quarter. That's how he rolls. He goes one quarter. You know, let's say what you race a quarter mile. No, he goes a football quarter about what team he rides with.
Well, as long as we're playing good, man, we'll get all the quarters. So I'm okay with it.
Yes, sir.
Coach, we just want to say welcome, man. And
thanks for having me, guys.
Just kind of tell us about yourself, Coach. Introduce everybody to Coach Bert Bathiany.
Yeah, so I grew up in Fort Thomas, Kentucky. Went to Highlands
You got
High
about
School.
4 or 5 state championships then, right?
Yeah, we had a couple.
We
had a couple. So, like, one thing I love about Lexington Catholic is just the tradition that we have here and the connections that we have with the relationships. Like it really is a special place because so many people care about it. And that was what I grew up with too. Like when I grew up, like my dad played high school football, my grandfather played high school football. So there are 3 different instances where there was a Bert Bathiany that played football at Highlands. And then there's 3 different instances where there was a safety that was a captain that wore number 10 and won a state championship between my dad, my brother, and myself. So when looking at a school like Lexington Catholic and you have all this rich tradition that was built upon by, Coach Spire, Coach Letton, Coach Perry, and Coach Smith, right? It was just a no-brainer to take advantage of it, right? So I grew up in Fort Thomas, Kentucky, played college ball at Denison University, which I had the time of my life. And I knew I wanted to get into college coaching. So I heading into my senior year, I sent out probably 50 emails asking for GA jobs. I heard back from 8, 7 no's, 1 maybe. And that 1 maybe was a Jim Now, the strength coach at Western Kentucky, who got my stuff from David Elson, who was the head coach at the time. And he remembered me through recruiting in high school. So I did an unpaid voluntary internship with Coach Now. And I went and I was an assistant GA and I just lived in his guest bedroom for a month. In the month of June, I ate with his family, and Coach Now is a former strength coach for Nick Saban at LSU. He was with Rich Rod at West Virginia. He was the head strength and conditioning coach at Mississippi State. Now he's bounced around a little bit. He was at Bowling Green, and then I think he's coaching high school ball in Mississippi now. But he took a chance on me. Coach Elson took a chance on me, got the opportunity. So I earned a GA job from there. So I played my senior year at Denison, went back to West Kentucky. I was a strength GA for a year. Our staff got fired in the middle of the season. So I was introduced to college football really, really fast. And then I got a call a week later by a man named Chris Oliver, who is the head football coach at Lindsey Wilson College. They were just starting the football team. And I met him a year previously at the coaching clinic. So my defensive coordinator at Denison brought me and my best friend in college, Brian Mason, down to the clinic in Nashville, the AFCA convention. Met Coach Oliver there, wrote him a handwritten note, and he kept that thing for a whole year. And then we got fired at Western. He invited me to interview for the GA job at Lindsey Wilson, and I went to interview. He had that handwritten note on his desk a year later. So I like to think because of that handwritten note, I earned another job from that. And from there, I was at Lindsey Wilson for 3.5 years. I was the first GA hired there. went to Denison University for 6 years, then got to go to Tiffin University with Chris Reiser, his head football coach there, and learned a ton from him. He's, one of my best friends. So I've been really fortunate just in my coaching and playing career. I've been around, some of the best coaches in the country who major in culture. They major in doing things the right way. So I just got to be a sponge and soak up as much as I could from Dale Mueller, Chris Oliver, Jack Hatem, Chris Reiser, all those guys. And now I get to kind of mold it and make it my own here. So excited for the opportunity.
Man, Coach, that's been an impressive career so far. And you also, like I said, you spoke on taking over a powerhouse in Lexington Catholic, who's had a lot of success. Man, what are some of the things you're looking to implement when you get here, and how you get this team, which has had some success, like I said, get over the hump against teams like Boyle County and stuff?
Yep. Well, we have a ton of talent on this team. Like we have a ton of talent. So I think that's what's exciting most is when I got here, just watching these guys run around on the field and watching us in the weight room. Like you just get excited about all the potential that you can. And I think the biggest challenge is like how we're going to get those touches to all these guys that we think are so special and just getting the right guys on the field. So it's a good problem to have. We just have so much talent on this football team. It's unbelievable. So excited about that. But everything will be based upon our culture. We will always be an effort-based program, and that'll be our X factor. We're going to win games on effort, and it's going to be our effort and our attitude. Like our offensive scheme will change week to week, year to year. Our defensive scheme will change week to week, year to year, and that'll be dependent on our players. But the one thing that will never change is our culture, and that is our effort. That is our attitude. That is our ability to compete. That is our mindset that we are always going to get better, and our mindset that it's love of brother. I'm going to do it the guy next to me. I'm going to do it for the previous nights who laid the foundation for me. And I'm going to do it for the future nights so I can lay the foundation for them later on. And I think if we always operate like that, we're going to keep climbing, always trying to get 1% better every single day. But whenever I talk to our guys, those are the things I demand. When we're on the field, it's effort, it's attitude, it's compete. It's this word we call Kaizen, which is the quest for continuous improvement. And this other word that we call Ubuntu, which is a South African term made famous when Nelson Mandela was released from prison. And it's a person is a person through other people. So that's the definition of brotherhood here. But those are the things we demand. It has nothing to do with running, passing, catching, anything like that. But if we do those things, I think we'll be okay. So implementing that first, just kind of put my own stamp on it, and got to give a lot of credit to the previous coaching staff where a lot of that stuff was already implemented. We could just kind of fine tune it and kind of make it my own and move forward. But those are the things we emphasize. That's what we'll be defined as. And we'll always be a relationship driven program with our coaches. So my goal is to try to bring in as many good football coaches as possible who can have a positive impact on our young men in this football program and help create this wonderful experience that'll last them the rest of a lifetime. Because the great thing and the bad thing about high school football is it's finite and it doesn't last forever. So we got to take advantage of the time that we got, because we never know when our last play is going to be, and it's all going to end for us at some point. But if we can make the most of it, we can make something pretty special here.
Now you come from college. Now,
Yep.
First of all, a couple questions about that. One, when you started coaching, did you envision yourself in high school? And
Yeah, actually I did. Like if you would have asked me in high school, I would have told you I was going to be a high school football coach.
Mhm.
I would have told you that. And if you would have asked my high school coaches, they would have said the same thing. If you would have asked my high school principal, he would have said the same thing. That was my number one goal. And then when I got to college, I kind of leaned in that direction for whatever reason. I mean, I think the scheme picks up a little bit, and I love the intricacies of football. I love the X's and O's. I like the game within the game. So I got attracted to that, and I was always like a strength and conditioning guy. So I kind of went that route. So that's why that was my path to West Kentucky. But then as I started having kids and they started getting into their activities, I love being a dad more than anything else. I have 4 little ones on my own. I have a boy who's 9, and 3 little girls, 7, 4, and a year and a half. And I love being at all their activities. So I always knew I was going to make the transition to high school at some point. And nothing like you work hard as a high school football coach, you work hard as a college football. It doesn't matter. Like coaching's hard in general, and you got to put time into it. But the one thing that's different between high school and college is the travel and the recruiting aspect. So I'm home a lot more. I get to have a little bit more flexibility to kind of see all those things. And when you're a part of the Lexington Catholic community, you're part of that family, and it's a special one. It's a special one. So I always kind of had tabs of schools in the state of Kentucky that would kind of pique my interest, and Lexington Catholic was always one that always stood out to me. If that opportunity ever came up, I would pursue it, and it did, and it ended up working out. So I was really blessed from that standpoint.
Coach,
You have another question, Trump? Did you have another one?
oh, he actually answered. I was
Okay,
going to ask
okay.
him what made him come to high school.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
answered that one, so that was cool.
Well, Coach,
Yeah,
man, I'm telling you.
Another question I did have for him though would be, how familiar are you with the Lexington football scene?
Well, pretty familiar. I mean, obviously, I have to not as familiar as I used to be when I was at Lindsey Wilson. You know, for those 3.5 years, I was a lot more familiar with it. Like, you know, growing up in Kentucky, I knew a lot about it. And then at Lindsey Wilson, obviously knew a ton about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then at Denison, we didn't really recruit Kentucky as much, but I had a bunch of buddies on Denison's team. So we had a former Lex Cath player, Michael Higdon, who was a year ahead of me at Denison. And then another one, Josh Amperian, who played at Lafayette. So we were 3 Kentucky boys on the team together. So we always kind of went back and forth at each other. But and I kept moving north and north and north, so we didn't recruit Kentucky as much. But I've always paid attention. It's my home state. So I always want to see, you know, what teams are good, what was going on, and how things have changed and stuff like that. But my wife went to the University of Kentucky. My dad did, my uncle, my brother, my cousin, my sister-in-law. So I've had countless family members that went to school here. So I was really familiar with the area as a whole already. So it was really like coming home when we came back to Lexington.
Now, Coach, you spoke earlier about the talent you have on this roster, what it looks like and stuff. And it's a fairly young team still this year coming in. Is there any kids, or I mean, if you want to speak on any kids or anybody who steps out right now, who's showing like, you know, looking good for you, that you think you better lean on?
Yeah, we got a ton. I don't want to leave anyone out. So I hope any of our players who listen to this, they don't take offense if I forget them. But like number one, Walker Hall, he was our back last year, and he's a dude. He's a dude. He's everything you want in a player. He works his tail off. He loves the weight room. He doesn't get tired. He just eats it up. He absolutely eats it up. And he's that guy, I think, as a defender, because I played defense in college. Those are the guys I hate tackling because I don't know what he's going to do. He can run you over. He can juke you. So you're always in that flux about like, hey, what do I have to do not get made look silly? So I think he's a phenomenal player. I think he can run between the tackles. He's fast enough to take it on the edge. He's really good at cutting it back and having patience with his blockers to allow them to set up their blocks. And he catches the ball well out of the backfield. So he's the full package. Some college is going to be really, really fortunate to get him. I can't say enough good things about him. Tanner Pedrochi is another great player who kind of came on the scene last year as a sophomore. And he's impressive, man. Like he walks through the door, and that's one of those guys where you're like, who is that? Who is that guy? He's 6'2". He's about 200 pounds right now, and the sky's the limit. Like, who knows what he could become? He could be an outside receiver, inside receiver, a tight end, outside backer, safety. Like he has so much versatility. It's crazy. Our kicker, Max DeGraff, is a legit kicker. He's traveling all over the country, going to different places. I mean, he was at NC State. He was at Indiana. He was at UK. He'll be going down to a showcase in Florida for some of the top kickers in the country. He was at TCU over the weekend, so he's getting a ton of interest. And he's been the starting shortstop for our baseball team for 3 years or 2 years, and then next year. And I remember being at a game, and I see someone hit one to the shortstop, and they just slung at the first. And I'm like, who is that? And they're like, that's Max DeGraff. And it was like when I first got here, I'm like, oh my gosh, like he is so athletic, and he's going to help us in more places other than kicker.
He made some huge kicks last year.
Yeah, like he's just like and I think once he focuses on kicking in college, I mean, he's going to skyrocket. He's going to absolutely skyrocket. That's the thing with some of these multi-sport kids, and we encourage multi-sport athletes here like crazy. I want them to play as many sports as possible, and I will bend, flex, whatever I have to do to make it work for them, I will, so they can have that experience in high school. You only get this once. I want them to be able to have that. But Max has been doing baseball, and you know how travel baseball is in Kentucky, especially in Lexington. I mean, it's an all the time thing, you know? So once he gets to settle in and focus on kicking, I think he's going to just, jump huge leaps and bounds. Blake Foster is another great player for us. He's a senior and he's the strongest kid on our team. And he moves really, really well. Like you see a kid that thick and you see him move the way he does, it's like something doesn't add up, right? Like he can move really, really well. So I think he's a great inside linebacker. He can play running back. He can play H-back. So he's a versatile player for us. He's doing a good job. I'm trying to think. Hunter Foster is another skill player that we have that's going to be a senior. And he was in the top runners and jumpers in his division all throughout the year in his class as a junior. So he's working on track over the summer. So he's going to have a big year, I think, as well. And then we got a lot of guys who are younger that are coming up that I don't think people really know about. Like Joe Schlarman is going to be a stud offensive lineman for us. Cannon Mackley is everything you want in a player. He is one of the hardest workers. He's one of the most dedicated players. He's tough as nails. He's physical. He's phenomenal. And Sam Clemens is another one who started safety as a sophomore, and he is skilled as can be. He can run, and he's smooth. He has great ball skills. So I could just go on and on about all our players. I know I left a couple of them out. For those guys listening, I apologize, but they're all doing a great job. I think we have really good skill players. I think we're young on the O-line, like you said. We graduated a great offensive line last year that mashed people. And we got some reps to be had for those guys, but I have all the confidence in the world that they are going to do great things this fall, and they're all young too. They're all young. They're going to keep growing and develop. The only knock these guys have against them is experience. That's it. They have the tools. But when you sit behind a Quentin Duffy, when you sit behind a Harrison Romero, when you sit behind a Jake Nash, like those guys are really, really, really good players. They take up a lot of reps, right? And there's only 5 spots on the O-line each game. So that's the only knock against them is just their lack of experience. But if you see what I see, man, you're going to see some good things from them this fall.
Now, coming in, how much time have you had with the guys? Were you able to do like spring football and that type of stuff?
Yeah, we did. So it was a little bit different. So, and I've had like an interesting experience here because in high school, obviously we had spring ball. Mm-hmm. So I was used to that. In Ohio, they don't have spring ball. Mm. They don't have it. So it's all lifted because in Ohio, if you had spring ball, like there's some sports that would just die because they would just all go play football. And at Division III, you weren't allowed wearing helmets in spring ball. So it was a different type of dynamic there growing up when I was a player and then when I coached D3. But then at Tiffin, obviously we had spring ball, but then we had COVID. So I had one spring ball at Tiffin. We had COVID. And then so it's been a really weird transition for me. But when I got the job January 13th, I started, I think, January 30th. And from that day, we hit the ground running strength and conditioning wise. And we have the best strength coach in the country in Ron Kelly. He's been here for about 17 years now, and he played linebacker at West Kentucky for Jack Harbaugh. Actually, Coach Elson was the defensive coordinator there back then, too, the guy who hired me. So there's funny connections there. But we hit the ground running. They've been training their tails off. We were going 4 days a week. And then we got the spring ball. We actually never aligned 11 on 11. We just focused on skill work the whole time. So on defense, it was what we call the edge, our hand violence, tackling, covering, running. On offense, it was all skill work. It was our mesh between our running backs and our quarterbacks, our O-line getting in sync with everything, and then just practicing, So that's kind of really what we focus on because we only had about 30, 35 guys for spring ball. Because so many guys are doing multi-sport. So we could put 11 on 11, but guys are playing out of position. I didn't think that was fair to them. So we just focused on our skills, and I think it was good. We got work in. We got 10 practices given to us by the KHSA, and we used all 10.
Okay.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, Coach, man, your energy, I love it. Your knowledge of every kid, man, I love it. I'll tell you what, we need young guys like you in the city to help bring energy back. Nigel was a great coach. I love Nigel. I think you're going to be great for captain, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm tell you what, just your knowledge of the kids, your little time here and where everybody is, man, that's amazing.
Well, that's like the one thing I said about our staff is we will be relationship driven and we will get to know our players. We're going to love them hard. And our whole goal in life is to help them be the best version of their self every single day. And if we can do that and we're better than yesterday, but not as good as tomorrow, and we keep climbing and we have that Kaizen mentality, I think we can create a lot of good things here. So that was kind of the big domain here is the thing I care about most is get to know them. Football is an easy game made complicated by coaches. And I'm, a very guilty party of that. I'm very guilty of that. But when it's all said and done, that stuff doesn't matter. It just really doesn't. It matters like the belief on the field. It matters on those core values we talked about earlier, the effort, the attitude, the compete, the Kaizen, the Ubuntu. That's what matters. And that's what will separate us from other programs in the city, in the state, and in the country.
Now, I got one final question for you, Coach.
What's that?
The position, Lexington Catholic quarterback position. How's that competition coming out so far? Because
it's going well. We got a handful of guys competing at that spot. I'm obviously not going to delve into too many details in that situation, but we got a handful of guys competing at it. And I think the one thing for us that people overlook is it is the third offense we've installed in like the last 3 years. You know what I mean? And that you can't overlook that from that standpoint. The same thing happened to me when I was at Tiffin. They installed my defense was the fourth defense they ran in 3 years because of just all the turnover. It wasn't and it was a positive thing. You're successful on the field, coaches get taken up. So one coach went to the Tennessee Titans, one coach went to Chattanooga, the other coach got to go to Valdosta, and then I come in. So that's something that we got to kind of keep in mind as we do this. We're slow cooking it. We want to make sure our guys are focused on quality and not quantity. So we're making sure that we get the right reads down and we're practicing all the little things like the skill work and our footwork and catching the ball with our hands. So we're really focused on all that. And, if we can do these things really, really well over the course of time, we'll be fine. So it's going well. Long-winded answer, but we got a lot of guys competing at it. I'm excited about it. And competition breeds the best out of all of us.
All right. Coach Bill, you got anything else?
No, man, I appreciate you guys giving me the time and giving me the opportunity. I love talking to you guys. So hopefully I see you guys out, see you at the game. You guys can come dap me up. We can hang out.
We will be around, Coach.
You definitely will, man. Good luck to you on the upcoming season, man. Like I said, the sky's the limit for Catholic. Like I said, it's going to be interesting to see you all go and just see that transition from the college game to high school, how much of influence is going to have on that team.
Yep.
That Boyle, Coach. You sure you want to sign up for that one? I mean, did you really research that? That's a monster right there now.
Oh, I know about Boyle.
They played them well. You played them in the state championship, right?
Yeah.
From when you played?
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, man, Coach said he ain't bothered by that, man.
But they played them really well. It's just kind of been little spots here and there.
Yep. So, they got a good program. They got a good football team, but that's why you play the game, right? That's who you want to play against. So if we were shy of competition, we wouldn't really be playing right now.
Coach said he don't duck no heat. He said he don't duck no heat. Bring them on. That's what I'm talking about, Coach. That's what I'm talking about.
I have all the confidence in the world in our players. I think we got some of the best skill players in the state. I think we got some of the toughest O-linemen in the state. I have 100% confidence in our coaches. So we're not going to shy away from anyone. We're scrimmaging Frederick Douglass. We're scrimmaging Ashland Blazer. We won't shy away from anyone. So we'll go play. We'll play in the parking lot. We'll play on a grass field. It don't matter. Just put the ball out there. Let's go. And, either we're going to win the game and get better or we're going to lose the game and get better. No matter what, we're going to take it as a learning experience and we're going to win. And in the mindset, we're going to get better and then we're going to get that next opportunity that next time. So we won't shy away from anyone and we're always going to compete.
Definitely.
Appreciate you, Coach. Thank you, man.
Catholic, you definitely continue that tradition there.
We have a great foundation laid down by a lot of phenomenal coaches. So hopefully we can uphold that, which I have all the confidence in the world we'll be able to do.
Man, a great interview with Coach. Lots of energy. I can see why they hired him. You can just feel his energy, and I think he's going to be a great coach for us, man. Looking forward to big things for our program.
You graduated from Catholic?
Hey, I'm just saying.
That's like that call Cousin Pete up tell you cheating on him. You out here cheating. Man, I'm gonna say the dude's energy is off the charts. I love it. He ain't ducking no heat. He's like, bring on whoever. And the thing about it, I say the cover's not barrel wrestling. That's a good thing. So I'm looking forward to it. My question to you right now is who you picking between Boyle and Catholic right now? Let's go.
What? Hold on, something wrong with my mic. I can't hear you. I think you're on mute. What'd you say, Coach?
Man, make sure you like, share, subscribe to our channel. Coach, tell them about Thursdays.
Hey, Thursday, we've been live lately every Thursday. Be sure to check us out. We have great guests and great topics. Be sure to join us on Thursdays, Big Things Kentucky.
And as always, you have to be a living donor. I'm Coach Bew, my man, Coach TV's on assignment, Coach Truck.
Hey.